All right, welcome to Inside the Huddle, powered by Romo Athletics and brought to you by the Raw Athletic Booster Club. I'm your host, Tom Brown, and today we got cross-country coach Rhett Cook. Hey, thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a good, nice sauna type day. It's not as hot as it was a little bit earlier. The storm came in, brought it down, and then really quick it boiled back up.
We're fortunate to be in the yellow today. I'm like, phew, better than the orange and the red, that's for sure.
Yeah, get those early morning runs or late night runs you're gonna have to do, right? Hey, so I'm excited about having you here. This is our first time having cross country on, and again, it's one of those sports that doesn't always get all the publicity, but it's been one of the powerhouses here for Rolla Bulldog Athletics with some big names coming through here. A lot of collegiate runners have been through this system, so I know it's you got a lot going on. So looking at this forward to this season, what are some of the key people you have, or or talk a little bit about the history from your perspective of the Bulldogs?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate, even my whole entire career here, to have such a program that's been built with great athletes. Always the work ethics. It shows where we're at in this part. We went from a few years back with Izzy Frost and Catherine and the Kinsey Duvall and all of those guys. That fifth place state finish, and the girls, that was an awesome. I feel like a big booster, gets everybody involved. And then as we roll in, we got a good group of juniors and seniors this year, and our freshman group coming in, Fox and Bennett, and bringing back Martinson, and always good to have a top guy back like that, with Tommy Pratt's as well, really coming along this year, and Braden Shinnefield on the boys side, and Nathan is Aguilarion coming along, and girls wise, Langley's coming back, and we've got a pretty new group there, but they're really showing themselves. The dedication between this year and last has really helped with that freshman group really coming on. So.
Yeah, and it comes down to dedication, just like in any sport, right? Putting that extra time in, working on the little techniques that you need, work on endurance, all the things you have to do. The timing, I know, is a lot more of an intricacy than I would ever have thought, but I know there's patterns to it. And
yeah, the week off between seasons, man, they get that week off, they get antsy, and then they start back in again. So it's a year-round deal, but a lot of our kids do it, our athletes do it, and that's awesome. So.
Well, talk a little bit about cross country again, since it's the first time. So, what is the length of the run that typically is going on with the, with JV and varsity? Is it the same length, and the distance that they're going to run during the event?
Yeah. So our races, JV, very rarely they'll be the same distance. They'll run a 5K each time. Okay. 7 we just score the top 7. It's kind of like golf. We have 7 out there. We put 5, our top 5 runners score every different day. That can be different. But they'll always run a 5K. They'll be on, 95% of that race will be on grass, hills, all terrain. You never know what they're going to run over or across. So it's some of those courses can be pretty brutal. That it's just where that mental capacity has to kick in, and really physically they can do it, but it's a big mental challenge for them.
And boys and girls are at the same events, same.
Yep, everybody runs. So boys they'll run a varsity race, the girls run a varsity race, but everybody runs the same distance, 5K. Okay. Occasional a JV meet might be like 2.5, just depending on they'll run a freshman race every once in a while, and they'll have that at a shorter distance, but we're 5K all the way once we hit the high school level. So,
nice. Yeah. Great. And that was just always one of the things I always wondered, you put them all out there. Is it only the top ones that finish, or is it definitely, do you declare up front, these are my varsity runners and these are my JV runners?
So most events and meets, we go to some pretty bigger meets, so they want us to declare that early. Now, recently, they're kind of jumping to, hey, we can put 10 in instead of the 7. Mm-hmm. Now, at district state level, we have to have 7 or you're disqualified. But a lot of these meets, so sometimes these bigger meets, we put 10 in a box. Yeah. And at the start, there's 300 plus kids running out of the chute. It's just crazy chaos. It's so exciting to see, man. It just gets you boosted, gets the adrenaline running for sure. So it's pretty cool.
That is great. So your first meet coming up is in not until September 7th, and it's at Bolivar.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big event, isn't it?
Yes, we always open up with that SWCA meet, that Southwest Cross Country Coach Association meet. It's a big meet. It's huge. It's basically, our class 4 and 5 guys, they run on a big meet there. That's another 300 plus kids just blowing out of the start line. It's pretty awesome. But that decides on awards for our kids. It's a big indicator of where we're going to be as the year goes on, because we'll see those guys the rest of the time. Right. We see those big guys, the 5 schools. It's awesome. So
that's great. Yeah. A lot of fun. So we were just talking, you have 8 meets on your schedule right now besides districts and state. Looking at possibly trying to add another one in, just because that gap, when again leaving those our conference,
Yeah.
So we lose the conference meet, but everything else was meets that you had scheduled anyways, right?
Yeah, we just kept everything the same. I mean, the first 4 weekends, as I say, we like start off hitting big meets. We go to Bolivar and we'll hit Camdenton there. Lebanon, that's kind of a laid back, cooler meet.
Yeah,
and then we'll go to Gans Creek. That's on the state cross country course. So that's a big meet for us to get an idea of that course. And, they spent a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. It's a great experience for the kids. And then we'll kind of slow down a little bit, go to some smaller ones during the week, kind of work on training a little bit. But yeah, we're trying to fill a little bit of gap there. But if not, we'll have a really good 3-week training process up until that start of district. So either way, it's going to be great.
So talk a little bit about that. So what do you do? So again, September 7th is going to be the first meet. So what changes? What do you do differently, like preparing like for the day of the week of the meet? You know what I mean? Do you have something that you do differently? How does it adjust between what you're doing now and what you do as you get closer to the meet time?
Yeah. So right now they're in a pretty tough phase. We're hitting 2 to 3 workouts meet, and we'll go back-to-back workout days. So like on a Wednesday, Thursday, I mean, one workout, they're like a rep pace, and then we'll hit an interval hard pace that away. So they're feeling pretty tired right now. That's for sure. We're at that point where we're not trying to get injured, but we're trying to stay in that ballpark. We're working pretty hard. As we get into those bigger meets, we will drop just one of those hard workouts a week, and then just add that into that Saturday heat. So they won't do back-to-back. We'll try to early on. It's kind of tough. You want them to go out there and perform at their best, but obviously we don't want them at their best in September. We're looking at November, late October, November. So the mileage, it'll stay the same. So sometimes they'll feel a little fatigued from that in the race, but it's a really good indicator. As they open up at Bolivar, we're seeing those big guys. Where are we stacking up against them? And then we have a month and a half to adjust to that. Like, hey, this is where we need to be, or we're actually setting really good. Let's keep on going. So that's where we're pretty. That's what we look at, anyways. In that sense.
So how do all runners qualify for districts? Are you able to put like your entire varsity squad in there, or is there some type of qualification point wise?
So just our top 7 runners. Doesn't matter what. I enter that in that Tuesday before, but our top 7 runners will go to districts, and that's where that cut line is there too.
And you go straight from so what is the level to qualify for state then? Because there's no other quarterfinal. It goes straight from districts to the state meet.
Yes, and that switched 5-6 years ago where we got rid of that sectional meet. It was hard on the kids across the state. So yeah, the top 30 or 4 best teams, and those 4 best teams, those kids on there, it's 30 no matter what, even if the teams qualify. So the top 30 kids go out. Top 4 teams and points go out to. We have what we call like super districts now, getting rid of those sections. So we'll see 12 to 16 teams at our district. Top 4 go out, top 30 individuals. And then that's how they just automatically qualify for the state meet. So.
Okay. So what's your thoughts about your team's chances? I mean, who you have come? I mean, other people you talked about coming back. What do you think about as a chance to go forward as a team? I know we got individuals that are, hard to imagine them not qualifying.
Yeah. So we should have some good individuals. I kind of look, the girls' side we're building. We got Langley as an individual there. She's really coming on strong this year too. We got some younger ones coming on strong to help with those team points. Obviously, jumping to Class 5 has been it's been a change to us, but it's nothing that we can't, face up against. We have the mentality and physicality to keep up with them too. Boys' side, they're, looking pretty good as a team as a whole. It just depends on if we go, south or, last year we went St. Louis. That was a really tough district, but we ended up getting those guys out of there. It was, Braden Schneefield was right on the line there. Nathan, he missed it by 2 spots. It felt so bad for him, but they're running 30, 40-second PRs, finished 31, 30 and 32. So 28 in that spot. So I feel like if we can stay in there, Tommy Pratt to say this year, he's going to be a big for us, a point jumper. But even if I feel like we don't make a team, we're going to get a lot through as individual qualifiers. And, our overall goal is obviously get that team through. So.
Great. That's exciting. Well, so before we go, I'd just like to recognize some new sponsors that we have for Inside the Huddle. We got In Full Bloom. You might have seen their stuff at the senior signings and things like that. Jackie does a great job on that. Has balloon decor and backdrop rental and even more. We also have Juan Skills Academy. He does a great job coaching basketball, training basketball. He trains Ethan, just does a phenomenal job. So I just kind of want to recognize them. And one last question. Okay, so you were a multi-time All-American in college.
Yeah,
in track. So mainly kind of the sprinting, the 400s.
Yeah, that was the quarter miler. Yeah.
Okay, so that's tough. That is, like you said, one of the most grueling things, not the most difficult thing they're talking about. So now let's put it out here today. You got to go out there today, do the cross country with these guys. away from your 400-meter comfort zone. How you doing?
They keep me active. I tell you what, but I've definitely found my place real quick. Especially early on, I used to go out there every day with them, and whew, man, they like to get me out on 6-8 mile runs, and not in the best shape anymore, but they like to take me out and then leave me in stranded. I can make my way back. So they pick on me a little bit. They like to. If it comes to sprint work, I can keep up with them a little bit, but yeah, running is definitely it's on the increase, and I'm on the decrease. So we're riding that train for a little bit. So my regular runs, I like that Kendall Langley pace. She's got it down. I can say that 8, but those other boys run 6, 7 pace. They're out of it.
I tell you, I mean, they come across these really nice kids, but then they have this just little bit of masochist thing about them, don't they? Yeah. Making cruel on you. That's rough.
They sure do. I always remember. I tell the story all the time with Nate Polsander when he took me out on it was like a 6 or 8 mile run. We went super easy. It got clear across town, and then he's like, "Okay, it's time to pick it up." I was like, "No, it's not." So I was like, "Goodbye. I'll see you back in a half an hour." So he made it in 15 minutes, and I was struggling back, but it was okay. The bike comes into play a lot more nowadays.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Be out there on the bike, going with them, have a little.
Absolutely.
Go, let's go, pick it up.
Yeah, for sure. So.
All right. So for Coach Rhett Cook, I'm Tom Brown, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Inside the Huddle.